Space, the final frontier. Well, okay, not really. All right, take two. Here in the Mitten State, welcome to Code 47, bringing you all things Star Trek, spanning the quadrants, the best thing since the neutral zone.
Special episode 81 with Katie and her cat and Tom Paris. Oh my god, 100% looks like a stuffed animal.
Yeah, she about feels like a stuffed animal,
or somehow a guinea pig. Anyway, everyone, welcome back to this super special episode, technically episode 81 of the Holocron. Oh my god, of the Code 47 podcast.
Oh no!
Wow.
You all missed it because
you know what? And I refuse to do edits, so we're just gonna roll. We're gonna roll.
Charlie was shitting at everybody because they could never say the name of the podcast.
I know. Oh no! Code 47 podcast, episode 81, coming at you with what was a complete failure last year. We tried to produce a special episode just for Star Trek Day, which was this past Thursday, a celebration of the 56th anniversary, the first episode of the original Star Trek. There was a bonanza that afternoon with a bunch of cool new stuff. So we're going to skip the preamble. We're not going to do anything crazy, whack, funky, nutty. We're just going to go through this news. So without further ado, of course, I want to introduce my wonderful co-hosts. I have Katie with her stuffed animal cat. I have Tom Paris in his shuttlecraft on his way to do something nefarious, possibly. Yep. Anyway, it's Peter, who just got his outfit for the Star Trek Voyager shoot that we're going to do at C2E2 next spring, which I'm very, very excited. I added not only Peter in that slot, but I added my wife April as Belana Torres. We're getting her the forehead. It's going to be fun. Really look forward to that. But anyway, let's get it rolling. First piece of news of all the great clips they showed. We didn't get an actual clip of this, but we did get some nice ancillary footage of a scene with Ortegas and Spock and the other crew members. But yes, the big announcement from Strange New World Season 2, which we already know is going to be great because we're going to get more Captain Kirk and we're going to get a little bit more exploration of all the characters. But veteran character comedian Carol Kane is joining the show. I couldn't have called this in a million, billion, gajillion years. It's totally crazy. Not only that, guys, what's the Star Trek connection with Carol Kane? It's a 6 degrees of separation kind of thing.
I have no idea because I don't know who she is.
Oh my! What about you, Katie?
I do not know the connection, but I definitely know you. Have you ever seen Scrooged?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. No, yeah. Peter, no.
Have a toaster.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Boom.
No. What about Princess Bride?
Have fun storming the castle. She's the.
That's her.
She's the troll wife.
I'm not a witch. I'm your wife.
Yeah, that's her.
That's her. She's just under so much makeup.
Right, exactly. and she was wearing makeup and Scrooge as well, no, not as much. No, there was a sitcom, the late 1970s called Taxi. Judd Hirsch had Tony Danza before Who's the Boss. It had her, and it also had Christopher Lloyd.
Nice.
Commander Krug from Star Trek 3. So there's your start. Like I said, a little bit more of a 6 degrees kind of deal happening. So anyway, she's great. If you've watched The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt over on Netflix, she was on that show. She's so sharp. And I get the feeling her inclusion in this probably has to do with a trail that was blazed by Tig Notaro over on Discovery. That's my vibe of getting like a really cranky, fun, like very non-Star Trek-y kind of role involved. So, I mean, I'm fired up for this.
I mean, Hemmer was pretty cranky early on, so they may just be continuing the trope.
I don't know that Hemmer could touch her with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, I'm fired up. I can't wait to see what she does. So,
it's Peter's favorite character like that.
Right, exactly. So that's pretty cool. I enjoyed the clip with Ortegas as well. Somewhat out of context, but she's got a great new haircut. Katie, that's right up your alley. That's your kind of haircut.
It is.
Right there.
Yes. Yeah. I'm saying if she starts growing it out and gets the full mane going, I will be thrilled. That'll be awesome.
I hear it.
I am very excited about Carol Kane. I think that like you said, she's very sharp. She's got great comedic timing, but she also has a lot of heart in a lot of her performances where there's a lot of character growth behind them, and she really can peg it in. So I think that you'll probably see a lot of like kind of, maybe, like a different take on the kind of crotchety. I mean, it's kind of a kind of a Star Trek thing, because like O'Brien was always kind of grumpy too. Like that's just kind of engineers, but I think
Jordy
that,
wasn't.
Yeah,
But B'Elanna was.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
it was a hallmark of her character. Yeah. Well, yeah,
I
Peter. Yeah, Peter and I were talking in the last TOS episode about the many tortured Starfleet engineers. Like that's the job. You got to be like make the engines run, and you got to be tortured or beaten or kidnapped or whatever. That's like
The nickname for DS9. O'Brien must suffer.
O'Brien must suffer. Exactly.
Brian definitely must suffer.
Hopefully that will not be the case here. So yeah, Strange New Worlds, without having any qualifier, Star Trek shows in this modern era are generally on an annual rollout. We got this one in this May, so I'm guessing next May is when we're going to get
I'm kind of hoping that for her, they pull more of a Pulaski exit rather than hey, it's the engineer of the week.
Boo. Yeah, right. Yeah, and then
let's not make that a thing, please, Strange New Worlds. Please do not just off your engineer every time.
Let's keep her on for a while. Like, I would love to see if this is like going to be a permanent thing for her.
Yeah, if she's here for like 2-3 seasons, that's fine. I'm just saying, please, if she has to leave, please don't kill her.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Everybody doesn't have to die. All right. Moving on. This was the piece of news that I was really banking on. Katie, I know this is not your favorite show because the main character, you find him very obnoxious.
It's kind of annoying.
But they pulled one. I watched this. This was one of like two super obvious things in the rollouts that I missed. Is that we're talking about Star Trek Prodigy, which we get a date of October 27th. So that's just about 6 weeks from now. Very excited to get that back. They're gonna roll those last 10 episodes, which will kind of take us through the holiday season. So they'll get them all out before the end of the year. We'll obviously be breaking those down on an episode by episode, bi-weekly basis when we come out. But the old dude sitting on the bridge with the big scary eye patch is the Outrageous Okana season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see the clip. I saw the announcement. I was like, they're bringing Okana back? Wow. Star Trek's own Han Solo.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly.
It was very strange to have him because he was in the clip that they gave. Like the clip seemed like it was so out of context.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it was it seemed like it was a strange, like, choice of a clip instead of having it be something where like they met him or there was some more context, because he had like one line I think of like, you guys are in more trouble than I am, and I was like,
maybe they should have had something where like the I don't know the name of Janeway's ship. I don't know if it's supposed to be the Dauntless or just a Dauntless class.
I think it is supposed to be the Dauntless, but I feel like
either way, like it would have been nice if like the ship warps in and then Okana's like, oh no,
right? I mean, this is
like that.
This is 100% out of context, because what you can draw for it, they're all wearing winter coats, so they were down on a winter planet. They probably found him; he was crashed somewhere, and then they're back up on the bridge, and Murph is in some kind of chrysalis, because he's just a blob on the bridge, and Rakta is saying, "Oh, something's going on here," or whatever. We have a development
at the end.
Yeah, and then he runs off, and then they're yelling, and you've got everybody's yelling and screaming. Everybody's wearing winter coats, so they're all together. And then hologram Janeway
is par for the course in Prodigy.
Yes, exactly. Janeway, hologram Janeway comes back and says, "What did you guys do while I was sleeping?" And then you flash back and you see this Dauntless class ship, which dwarfs the Protostar. It makes the Protostar look like it's a shuttlecraft. I mean,
it looks like the Protostar in the show when we saw it looked pretty small anyway. It's like it's like 2/3 the size of the Defiant is my guess.
Right, exactly. But yeah, with a little bit more traditional with the nacelles.
Oh yeah, the shape, but I'm just saying like size wise.
Right, but then again, you see, we saw Admiral Janeway on the Dauntless, which is Slipstream class vessel that came right from Voyager. Nit to pick on the bridge of her ship, a Sciences Division guy is at the helm. What's going on with that? That was my one takeaway. No,
I completely missed that. Which side was he on? Because there's the ops station cycles out.
He was in the front. He is sitting, dead center in the front. So anyway, Nits to pick. I'm very excited about this because way back when the series debuted, they said, well, Robert Beltran's going to be back. We got just a clip of him as a recording of Chakotay, but also these two actors, including Jamila Jamil, who is Titania on She-Hulk, and one of the actors whose name is escaping me, who was in Hamilton, like the stage production that we've all seen on Disney Plus, and he was also in Blackish. He was the brother. Those are two people who are part of Chakotay's crew. So we're gonna get Chakotay's crew at some juncture. So, I can put aside the fact that none of us like Doll. It's okay because we're gonna get hologram Janeway versus Janeway.
With Doll, he's just like
yeah.
early. Like they're following like Avatar: The Last Airbender, so you have to have the main character a little annoying at first.
Do not compare him to Aang.
I'm not comparing him to Aang. I'm comparing the story arc style. He is not like Aang.
We're having a revolt
moment.
I mean, I will say the one thing that I honestly found interesting that piqued me was, Doll said, "Hey, do not answer that hail because then like that living or whatever will get onto their ship." And I was like,
the living construct will get on their ship. Yeah. So there's a reason they're not answering their hails, which I'm curious to see how that works.
Living virus. So many little Easter eggs dropped, just boop, 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 boop. Yeah,
well, and that's what the orb lady kind of is, like a living construct type of deal.
Oh, the Medusan? Yeah, the Zero. Yeah. That comes from, an episode of TOS that Peter and I watched not that long ago, that the Medusans are you caught that in the first season. The Medusans are this formless ball of energy that if any biological organism gets a glimpse of them, or any human organism, they will go insane because they can't comprehend what they look like, which kind of happened with Doll. She caught a reflection and she was like, I kind of messed her up for a little bit. Not Doll, yes, exactly. So you caught a little taste of that. So anyway, very excited about this. We'll have this back. I was doing our schedule. The last episode of season 3 of Lower Decks will correspond with episode 11 of this. So we'll have we'll have both to talk about. Both animated programs to talk about in the same week. So yeah, lots of great stuff coming up. So, okay, moving on to what's going to make everybody's 2023 to get kicked off. We hope. Because with Picard, there's nowhere to go but up after season 2. Oh my God.
Say that, but this might be a hold my beer situation. I mean, I'll admit, I kind of hated myself for watching that trailer and letting the nostalgia kick in, and I was like, oh, but they're all back together. And I was like, no, Katie, don't give in.
Yeah, don't do it.
Believe them. I can't be hurt again.
It's like the first episode of season 1. It's kind of like with me and Picard in general. Like the first episode is like, oh, that's all right. Yeah. This could be okay. And then, like, shortly thereafter, you're like, no.
The first 2 episodes of season 2, I was like, holy crap, this is
like,
awesome.
Especially season 2, it was like, look, Starfleet. Like, they're being Starfleet, and there's Q, and there's interesting timeline shenanigans. And then
like they mad-libbed the rest of the episodes.
Right, exactly. Picard goes to blank. And then blank blanks blank.
Right. Yeah. I will honestly never be able to forgive them for their mistreatment of how Q went out.
It was the single worst season of any Star Trek show ever.
I mean, the scene was well acted, but
he's seen the animated show, and he just said that. Let's just leave that out there, and I would agree. It was very well acted, but it was just horrible writing.
Right. So, anyway, to bring it back around, you're right. For the time being, nowhere to go but up. We can all enjoy that this trailer was very exciting. Picard and Riker in a bar in a ski. It's kind of looking like the Mandalorian because it's so skeevy, but Beverly is out, she's calling for Picard's help from afar, and she's running around with a rifle, and she's wearing a jacket that looks like Kirk's jacket. So she's being all super cool, spy gal lady. And then you see the same thing is going on with Raffi. And then you see this big explosion where this big Federation, building collapses. What the hell is going on?
I was getting vibes of season 4 of Enterprise with the bombing of the Federation.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to do like some sort of Terra Prime-ish thing, or if this is going to be something else. I'm not saying it's Earthlings versus everybody else, but like Federation centrist or something. Not centrist, isolationists. something like that.
So, but we do get, when everybody kind of reassembles, or at least, again, we're just watching Picard and Riker, though we do see Geordi and Worf, and we see Troy as well, but we don't necessarily see them all together. We're also not getting any hint of a character played by Brent Spiner, which we know we're going to get at some point. They all assemble on the Titan A. So this is a predecessor to the ship that Riker and Troy had, being that, this is 20 years later. And it's this crazy new design, which is this big morph of the Constitution class, which is my favorite
I like
ship.
the design of the ship for the most part.
For the most part. It does have a couple of clunky, weird angles, but
I'm a little confused why we're going with Titan A.
Yeah.
For the very simple reason, one, it's not that long since Titan was destroyed. Titan hasn't been destroyed as far as we know yet.
Wow.
Two, since it was built, so it hasn't and two, ships share names all the time without sharing registries.
Right.
So it was just one of those I know the Enterprise does that, but not every ship needs to do that, if that makes sense. It's a very, very tiny thing. But whenever anyone adds the alphanumeric designation at the end, it's always one of those
you might be in the weeds here, Peter, but it's okay. We love you.
But anyway, that's what I'm here for.
They get on the ship, and the XO of the ship that welcomes them is 7 of 9, or maybe she's going by Annika Hansen. I have no idea. But anyway, yes, it's only she and Raffi that have survived as characters into this third season. Everybody else got dumped. So yeah, nobody else was popular enough to make it. So anyway, you're right.
They kind of left Rios.
Yeah.
So Rios could have survived, but they were like, nah.
Yeah, he kind of arced out. Yeah, they didn't really care that much about that.
Also, I'm very confused because last we knew they were standing on the bridge, talking to
the Stargazer, right?
Queen, and going, "Hey, there's this huge astronomical threat that we have to join together." To
right.
Beat.
Yeah. And what do we think about that storyline? Fuck it, we don't care.
I mean, season 1 also had the Reapers from Mass Effect at the end, so something has to you can't just you can't just leave the Reapers out there and be like, nah.
We're good.
It's not
cool.
going to affect
It's cool. Not a big deal.
Okay.
Not a big deal.
Season 3 is going to bridge season 1 and 2.
I hope so, because otherwise it's just you had these two things, and why?
Right.
I'm
exactly.
If they're following Mass Effect, that would make sense that the games just kind of, the stories are just going to become incredibly convoluted and not make any sense or coherence.
Oh, that's the show, so you nailed it.
But Mass Effect makes a little bit more sense.
Oh, my goodness. So anyway, we get Picard. We also got a date, February 16 of next year. You guys will actually be covering a segment of this without me, because at the end of February, April and I will be on the Star Trek cruise. So one of the two of you can flip a coin, is going to have to be in charge of the show while I'm gone. We'll see. I'll let you guys figure that out amongst yourselves, but you'll have to record one.
Chaos on the bridge.
He says, I've already got the bridge. Okay,
he's the one who's wearing the Tom Paris outfit,
there you go.
So.
Really? You want to
put crash the ship?
Putting Tom Paris in charge is your bright idea?
Okay, but in all fairness, I'm more science officer material anyway.
Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness.
I
All
will
right,
not be wearing the red.
Moving on, we have some non-on-screen content. We have a scripted podcast by Nicholas Meyer, who gave us Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan, which Peter and I got to see on the big screen last week. It was awesome. And he also gave us Star Trek 6. He is doing a scripted podcast called Star Trek Khan Ceti Alpha 5 about Khan's homeland, and kind of went wrong with the way that he explains it, that Ceti Alpha 6 exploded and knocked our planet out of orbit, which is not actually something that could happen. I've read many. I'm no scientist, but that's not right.
I wrote a short fan fiction log of how that happened.
Oh, okay. Well, that we'll have to wait. Of course you. First of all, of course you did.
Oh wait, can we do a scripted reading of your fanfic?
Oh my God! Look at that special episode number 2.
It's just a log from Ensign Ricky. It's not even a whole scripted thing.
Oh, then that means no. We're gonna flesh this out. We're gonna
build
okay.
All right.
content right here. It's gonna be amazing.
We have a new project. This will be, I think that could be some Patreon content when we roll that out.
Ensign Ricky's Logs.
Oh, that could be the name of the segment, Ensign Ricky's Logs. Okay, but anyway, so this is two-tiered.
Peter's gonna kill me later.
Oh my god.
See, the thing is, it's from my role-playing game. Ensign Ricky is dead. So
that's what's perfect.
So
so anyway,
say that. We got to cut that because now everybody's going to know the ending of this.
It's a new timeline.
Podcast.
It's a new
Oh my
timeline.
God. It is. It's gone full JJ. Okay, so no release date. Easy now. No release date for this. But I'm looking forward to it in podcasts are usually.
Yeah, I'm curious.
We'll see.
They haven't really said who's cast.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how they're going to do it. Like, is it going to be fully dramatized with like a la like Starship Excelsior, Star Trek Outpost, where there's like music and sound effects and all fully dramatized, or is it going to be a little bit more like Alexander Siddig and actor for Garrick, whose name is escaping me for some reason.
Andrew Robinson.
What those two did during the pandemic, where they had like Garrick and Bashir doing random stuff.
Oh, really? I don't know about that. I did not know anything about that. However, third option, somehow resurrect Ricardo Montalban a la Weekend at Bernie's. And no, that wouldn't really work for audio.
Hey, I mean, if you watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, they can do a pretty convincing voice recreation of certain characters.
Wow. Awesome. Other short caveat added on to the end of this, February brings the return of Star Trek The Pod Directive, which is the official Star Trek podcast with Tawny Newsome and Paul F. Tompkins, who were the hosts of Star Trek Day. I listened to the first season of this. I really like her. We exchanged something on Twitter once. Well, not really. She just did a cut and paste telling me the show was coming back. But you know what? It was my moment. I was very excited. No, I think that she's pretty awesome. So that should be fun. All right. 3 more tales to go. And this one is uniquely us. We're in the middle of Lower Decks right now. It was a little fun preview of what I think is episode 8. That will be out in about a month from now on October 13th. Crisis Point 2, Paradoxus.
This just looks like it's going to be a whole boatload of hilariousness.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic. I am so excited.
So yeah, our clip is simply a couple of 3 Romulan warbirds just pounding the Cerritos in the space battle. A couple of Romulans beam on board. They steal a device and zap some people. And then once they got that, they're like, "I want you to destroy that Federation ship." The Romulan commander says. And then a ship comes charging in to save the day. It's a Sovereign class, just like the Enterprise E. And what was the name of the captain?
Cephalus Dagger.
Cephalus Dagger, and it's Boimler.
Interestingly, the uniforms are kind of a throwback to Star Trek Online.
Right,
They're not quite the Odyssey uniforms, but they're pretty close.
They switched the color scheme, but though it's pretty much the Nemesis uniform, but still.
Which is basically what the Star Trek Online uniforms are.
So, I as I have been saying on our most recent episodes, season 3 of Lower Decks, to me, even though we're only 3 episodes in, to me is the best. I'm having so much fun. They haven't missed a beat. So this will be, and then Veritas, I think when we were talking, or the Crisis Point one was my favorite episode of the first season because I just thought it was absolutely great.
Fun. There's so many things in the episodes to like.
I know.
As everyone has heard us wax.
Yes.
Wax poetically on.
Yes. Wax. Up next, we got a season 5 set tour of Discovery, which I thought was kind of blah. I mean, it didn't really excite me. It didn't really tell us when the show was coming back. Didn't really give us any hint of what was going on with the show. I thought
Tilly's coming back.
Yeah,
Tilly's coming back, and she's my favorite. I was really excited about that.
I just hope that they write her better, because the last time she got kind of the short end of the stick in the last season she was there.
Yeah,
at least that's how it felt to me.
They weren't giving her a lot. Like it seemed like it was one of those where, we'll just put her in there when we don't have anything else to do, and that
exactly. And so it's just like. I don't know.
I thought the episode that she was doing the teaching was really, really strong, where they get stranded on that planet.
Yeah, that one worked the best out of them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
So
I don't
yeah,
know. I
I'm
just
with you.
hope that they give her more.
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean, I will always take more Tilly, so I am 100% on board with her being more active in it.
I gotcha.
I just hope she grows more and they get her more into the I want to do Starfleet stuff because they took that from her.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Yeah, she
And
kind of,
as
she kind of
annoying
ping
to
ponged
me as
around.
she was in the early seasons, I like seeing characters grow.
Yeah,
So
true. No, I agree. Go ahead.
We'll have to talk about this more later because I would say that was part of her growth was getting out of the I want to be Star Trek. Or
yeah, I would agree with that. I just think that they may have like smashed her a little bit too much.
Yes, I think it was her kind of going back to setting, being like, okay, let me figure out what I want to do. And so I'm hoping that this season will be her returning, being like, okay, so I figured out these few things. Like I thought about it a little bit, got my mom out of my head in that controlling situation. And well, I know that Wiseman has said out that they purposely did not write the character to have autistic traits in. Wiseman did not mean to play her that way. She is a huge, like, especially in the early seasons, a huge, like, call for people on the spectrum because a lot of her traits do match up with those behaviors. So, I mean, that's part of why I just absolutely adore her is because I see a lot of my awkwardness in her. So I hope that part doesn't leave. But
I think that's why she annoyed me is because I did see a lot of my awkwardness in her. It was like,
no, it's too much. Oh my god!
There's two different reactions to seeing yourself on screen. It's like, oh, that's me, and then like,
oh, I love it. No, I hate it. Oh my god! Yeah, right. So, at any rate, this because I was sitting here trying to remember when did we get this last year? We got this at the end of last year. So no, or yeah. This makes it sound like we'll be seeing this maybe this time next year. That's what
I know. We're not getting any this year.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I would have to go back and skim it, but yeah. I mean, they layer the shows to a certain degree. Like we're getting an overlap of the two animated shows, and then we get a break, and then Picard starts.
As long as they don't pull what they did earlier this year, where they had like Prodigy and Picard overlapping like 2-3 weeks, and it was just like, but you guys were spacing them out,
right?
And now you're not, and now we're getting Prodigy like months. Just don't do that.
But it sounds like they have kind of course corrected, and that's what they are. They're spacing things out because, like I said, it's Lower Decks into Prodigy, little gap, then Picard. Then by the time that's done, we'll be pretty close to Strange New World season 2. So I'm guessing, and then we'll go all the way, and then it'll be back to Lower Decks again because that came on in August. So I'm not sure when this may end up being an overlap. But anyway, speculation aside. They
said late 2023.
Right.
So
fourth quarter. So essentially almost now, a year from now. So, Peter, you play the Star Trek Online. You're very.
I have played Star Trek Online from year 1.
You are the guy. Why don't you take this one then? I've been doing all the introducing. This is all yours.
Okay, so the final story we've got is for Star Trek Online. Will Wheaton returns in the next season as his mirror self as the Terran Emperor.
I'm shaking
I
my
will
head.
say for myself, I did not see this coming, and I've been playing the damn thing.
Yeah, so, well, that's impressive, and it looks like from this, it's all about Terran Emperor and attempting to control
V'ger. So what happened in the most recent bit was they brought back Ilea.
Okay,
and V'ger apparently can cross dimensions now.
Sure, why not? I like it.
I mean, sure, but so the Terran Emperor, because with Star Trek Online, they've been bringing a lot of the mirror universe in. They like. Mirror Lita has been like a constant antagonist and a hilarious one the whole time. But anyway, so the Terran Emperor has been trying to find the mirror universe equivalent of V'ger to use as a weapon. And so we've been kind of getting hints for the past little while of like the Terran Emperor, the Terran Emperor. It's going to be a big reveal. And so I was sitting here going like, it'd be really interesting is if they got Picard to be the Terran Emperor, because that would be something that everyone would be like, oh my gosh. But it's Wesley, which is fine. I'm okay with bringing Wesley in to do the Mirror Emperor, but it doesn't feel quite like what they were teasing, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm good with it. I'm fine. It's just a little. It's
weird, yeah. Oh yeah.
It was not what I was expecting. Some people were like, "Oh yeah, I totally called Wesley," and like,
Peter, no one expects the Wesley Inquisition,
which is what this will be, because you played an Inquisitor.
Oh
they had you play a mirror version of yourself.
Oh my gosh!
Which is the only time you hear your character talk, because they stick a vocoder on your throat, so you speak with a robotic voice.
You're auto-tuned.
You're auto-tuned, because they don't want to make your character speak, because they want you to put the voice in. But so you have a vocoder, and so you're playing an Inquisitor in the Terran Empire. So yes, the Wesleyan Inquisition.
Oh my gosh, totally crazy. Well, that is. Did we miss anything? Was there any other bits floating out there? I didn't see anything that happened that day. I watched it because I had it on next to me because I had an office day, so I was listening and glancing over and whatever. But I think that was everything, right?
I think so.
I mean, I looked at parts of it, and especially when you're like, "Oh, this thing dropped," I'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to go take a look now."
I'm working, I swear. So that's it. So I love Star Trek Day. It's our own little Star Trek-y celebration. So it'll be fun. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. And with that, any final thoughts, guys?
Seems like it's going to be a good year.
Yes. 'Tis a very good year for Star Trek. Anyway, that's it for us. So, Katie, where do people find you out there on the intrawebs?
You can find me on Twitter under QT Geek. That's Q_T Geek, and on Instagram at Quintessential Geek. And I will be posting some photos on there that I took recently of Charlie and Peter and their Enterprise cosplays.
Woohoo! Yes, that was totally awesome. So much fun. Peter, how about you?
Not make me look like a dweeb.
Photographic fakery. No, I'm just kidding. Peter, where do people find you, Peter?
You can find me around the internet as Petrus Aquinas, Petrus_Aquinas. I don't post a whole lot, but you can find me.
I know, but your growing acumen as a social media superstar because of this podcast will lead you to post more. I'm so sure of it. At any rate, you can find me on just about all socials, in particular on Twitter as @theC3. Just spell it out. April and I also run the USS Grand Petoskey here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Both Katie and Peter are members, and you could be too. Check us out at the website of the same name. You can find us across all socials pretty much on that platform. I also do everything that I can to pump up our Secret Friends Unite social presence over on Facebook. So most of that content is me. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our network podcast feed to get all of our wonderful programs. This show, our Prime program, which is kind of geek a la carte. We have a great Star Wars program called Holocron Chronicles. See, I got it. And the video game show is called Co-op Mode, so we'd love to see you there. With that, I'm going to tell you, friends, as always, thank you for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and to keep on trekking. This is from our new store. Keep on trekking.
And wherever you go, go boldly.
Peace and long life.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.